Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Good morning, campers, or whatever time you're listening to this, either at night or good afternoon or whatever time of the day you're listening to this podcast. I would like to say welcome and welcome back for another edition of Lights, Camera, Rant, where we review the latest in TV shows, video games, and movies, and we talk about the latest news to keep you up to date on the latest stuff that's coming out and letting you know how I feel about really good movies and giant piles of crap. Like Transformers 2. That's a pile of a crap of a movie. Honestly. That's my first review in only 10 or 15 seconds of this podcast. Yeah, well, good do, guys. Nah. Thank you for joining again, and thank you for being here. What we got today is we've got two reviews coming up. So I'm going to talk about Hawkeye, episode 1 and 2, and we're going to be talking about Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, because as I'm recording this, I've just seen this today, and I've got a lot to express about that particular movie. But as always, we get into the news first. So, just thought I'd start off with the fact to make sure you guys keep posted the fact that on the 29th of November, Spider-Man No Way Home tickets go on sale. So wherever you are in the world, I'd highly recommend getting your tickets because this is going to sell out fast, guys. This is nearly the most anticipated movie of 2021. Spider-Man No Way Home. The hype is real. The hype train is smashing through every single barrier. And I have no doubt that this Spider-Man movie, take this to the bank, is going to cross the billion mark. This is going to cross it. You know, this is going to be the one that does it. You know, it's going to do that upper echelon level. Same with Infinity War, Endgame, and Black Panther. $1 billion Spider-Man. Take it to the bank. I 100% think this is going to happen. So get your tickets, guys, because this is going to sell out. You know, I understand everyone's got COVID scares, but you gotta see this movie. This is gonna be fantastic, and this is gonna pull on your heartstrings and nostalgia strings. If, I really hope, the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield is going to be in this, please, they have to be in it by now. But yes, November 29th, tickets go on sale, so get ready, guys. Gotta get pumped for that. So, in saying that, little also tidbit, if you got Disney Plus, definitely go start watching the Beatles special. Get Back to it. Oh yeah, Get Back. Sorry, is now streaming. However, keep in mind for this because the fact that, which I didn't realize at the time, I thought it was going to be released as one movie. No, this got released in 3 episodes. 3 episodes that goes for nearly 2 hours each. Yes, you heard me. This goes for 7 hours, which, you know, if you look at it, they did say there was about 60 hours of footage on the floor that they've kept, hidden for all this time, which I find really weird. But yes, you definitely have to sit in for this particular one because it's 2 hours each individual. So I do hope I will get you guys a review for this, but this may take a little bit of time because this ain't just like a 30-minute episode or a 40-minute episode. This is 2 hours. Like this is just like no, there's nothing comparing to it. I don't really know how you can call it. Here's 3 episodes. Okay, for 2 hours each, 2.5 hours, give or take. But wow. That's now streaming. So far, everything I've seen for this is very positive. Haven't had anything negative so far. Which if anything does negative, I will definitely tell you guys as I always do. But yes, that's now streaming. In other news, which that I thought was really cool, was that apparently there's a rumor that Brendan Fraser and amongst his resurgence or resurgence of Brendan Fraser getting all these really cool roles. And Batgirl, the next Martin Scorsese movie. Probably just butchered his name. is the fact apparently he's being eyed for a 4th installment of the Mummy franchise. Now, I'm all up for another Mummy movie, 110%, especially if Brendan Fraser comes back. I'll be up for it. I just hope the fact that they do make a 4th Mummy movie, they don't count the Tom Cruise one, because that was just a pile of garbage. Which we know because the fact that was meant to kick off a shared universe, and that did not happen, did it? Yeah, they took photos, they announced the Dark Universe and everything, and oh, Jesus. Oh, God, it was just, that all failed right there, and, it's going to be very, that's going to be very interesting how that's all going to come out. But, yeah, Brendan Fraser apparently getting retired for Spider-Man 4. The Mummy 4, which I do hope they don't cancel completely Tom Cruise's one. But I'll be up for that. But you're definitely, due to Brendan Fraser's age and apparently injuries that he suffered from the Mummy 2 and 3, you're gonna need someone young to really take a majority of the bumps in this one, because I don't know if he's gonna be able to take it. But apparently he's all up to return for it if it ever came up. So fingers crossed we get the Mummy 4 and we get something new, a new leading man to help him out. Don't know whether it'll be his son again, and where they would take that. Also, that's come up that which is despite everything going on right now, is the fact that Battlefield has been released, and it is a shocker. It is buggy. It's just, I don't know. I honestly don't get it. We've got Call of Duty that's come out, Vanguard, that's been poured really badly, and the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition is in shambles, and this comes out, and this is in shambles. I was talking to a mate the other day, and I was like, "Is this the reason?" There's two reasons. I'd like to, for you guys to think about. Are these COVID affected games? Like, are these subpar? Are these just poor shells of a game? Not shells, but like unedited games because of COVID. Like, are we getting the last bit of COVID games? That's really why. They're all crappy? Or is it the fact that, they're just like slapping the title on and shipping it and go, you're going to buy it. I know you're going to buy it. And that's one way or another. Because the fact that, we've got these 3 AAA titles, if you call the Definitive Edition a AAA title, and they're just buggy as all hell. Like, you're buying it for the name. Trust me, I'm going to buy the Definitive Edition, but I'm not going to buy it until that first update comes up to fix all the crap. And, the funny thing is, as I'm recording this, there is a report, the fact that Cyberpunk, the reviews for Cyberpunk have swayed it, and now the majority of them are positive because the fact that the majority of the bugs have been fixed, and now the game is just streamlined, really going really well. And that's astonishing, and that's fantastic, because you can tell there's been a lot of work in that game. There's just a lot of misses. But the fact that we're getting these tiles and they're fantastic. I was speaking to Mark. Mark is playing a game right now. He's going to hate me because I can't remember the title of it. But it's not a AAA title. It's a very indie game, and he was saying the fact it's fantastic. There's no bugs. It plays normally. Why aren't these games that have more money not having the same amount of love? Like, why are they relying so much on the first update? They shouldn't. And the thing is the fact that, if Activision, keep pumping out games like this, and obviously DICE, and they pump out games like this where there's shells of a game, they're going to hurt the brand. Like, no one's going to buy it. Sometimes, I know I'm not in that type of business, but reaching a deadline is not worth the detriment to the label or to the brand if you're just going to give something that's just subpar. It just hurts more than the money you're going to make. It's not going to be worth it at all, which we're seeing right now. So, and the effects, everybody's listening. Everyone can see how the mess they're in. It's just astonishing, really. But yes, that's unfortunately bad news about Battlefield. Moving on. Jurassic World Domain. We got the first poster for that, and we got a trailer, but it's a prologue trailer. So we didn't get a whole lot in it. It was a lot about the dawn of time, and then the fact that T-Rex going into a drive-in, and then they try and capture it, but then they lose it. So we didn't really get a trailer for Domain. It was really just like a little snippet kind of thing. But honestly, I can't wait for this particular Jurassic Park movie. Jurassic Park World 2 was really kind of subpar, really. However, this particular one, we're getting the return of, Sam Neill. We're getting a return of Jeff Goldblum, and that's gonna bug me. I can't remember her name, but she was in the unforgettable, horrible, The Last Jedi Star Wars movie. That was Laura. I can't remember her last name. But she was in that, and that was a terrible movie. But yes, the 3 original cast for Jurassic Park 1 is coming back for this movie, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see the interaction with Chris Pratt and all of that. Just being like, oh my god, not again. Dinosaurs for the 3rd time for these guys, and 3rd time for Chris Pratt as well. And I can't wait. They have finished filming of the movie, and we really haven't got a trailer for it yet. However, obviously, if you've seen the prologue trailer and the poster, everything's gearing up for its 2022 release. So, pumped for that. Definitely keep following my pages, because I will, as soon as that trailer comes out, boom, we're going to make sure I share the shit out of that. Another little tidbit is we got Sylvester Stallone is returning for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He posted on his Instagram in the outfit, which is really cool. Can't wait to see him return, because he played a very small but pivotal role in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I'm never going to say no to more Sylvester Stallone, and I don't think anyone else either. But yes, he is going to be returning, and in a recent interview with Keanu Reeves, he said it would be an honor to join the MCU, and look, to Mr. Reeves, it would be an honor for you to join it, and I can say for everyone in the entire MCU is we would love to see you in the MCU, because no one's going to ever say no to more Mr. Reeves. Definitely yes, please. And look, there's a lot of floating around of what people want him to play. Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock. Well, it was once upon a time, but it's not now. But honestly, one I would love for him to play, which I think he would do fantastic in, is Ghost Rider. It would be really cool if he was playing Ghost Rider. I think that'd be great. He would do fantastic in the role, and definitely outshine Nicolas Cage. But then again, the first Ghost Rider movie wasn't too bad. Second was very questionable on that particular one. Yeah, Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. That was, just watch the first Ghost Rider. Don't need to watch the second one. But apparently it's been an honor, and I would love to see Keanu Reeves in the MCU. I think he would be a fine addition to the collection. But I'll opt for that. And sorry. The thing is, the fillers are out there. Kevin Feige, pick up this man. Moving on. With Ridley Scott, he's announced that, hasn't really announced, he has mentioned the fact that a Blade Runner TV show is currently in development with 10 episodes, which would be really cool. I would love to see more expand on the Blade Runner mythology. I feel like there's a lot there. We got Blade Runner 1 and Blade Runner 2, but I feel like there's still a lot. There's a lot you could do with a TV show, so I'm all pumped for this. If you haven't gone to see the first Blade Runner, please stop my podcast. Please go watch it right now. Blade Runner is a fantastic movie, especially ending makes you really, really think. Just the original cut. Don't watch the others. Just the original cut will really make you think. Obviously, it's a bit outdated because of its era of time it came out. However, it's still really good to watch, and just visually is stunning. And speaking of Ridley Scott, now he's he's got two releases this year. He's got The House of Gucci, and he's also got The Last Duel with Matt Damon and Adam Driver. And The Last Duel has bombed at the box office. It had a $100 million budget. It only made a $28 million return at the box office, which is, that's bad. Because, you know, how much to tell you how much the budget was, it usually never includes advertising and blah, blah, blah. So definitely a failure. But apparently Ridley Scott, someone asked him, why do you think the failure? And he was like, I blame millennials because they don't want to learn anything unless it's taught to them on a cell phone. And this is also the same guy who also complained about the MCU as well. Look, Ridley Scott has done fantastic movies. He's given us Alien, he's given us Gladiator, he's given us Blade Runner, obviously. However, if your comments about the MCU and your comments about millennials, I think you're a bit outdated. Sure, honestly, my personal opinion, medieval movies, it's based on a movie in France. It doesn't excite me. I'm like, it doesn't excite me because I'm like, it's history. I'm like, it's done. I can go check it. I can read about it. It's not new storytelling. You're just drawing from the source material and you bring it to the big screen. Yeah. It's not really new storytelling, where opposed to the MCU, they're doing differently. You don't know what's really going to happen next. Yes, the pages are there that they draw upon, but obviously they can't fully adapt a book, in that sense. So, look, with all respect, Ridley Scott, I think you're out of touch. I think you need to shut up before you say something even worse. Because, look, the thing is, The Last Duel did have positive reviews. It just didn't, it wasn't box office smash. If no one likes it, no one likes it. You make a great movie, but if it doesn't put butts in seats, then that's not bad. It just, if the reviews are positive, it doesn't put butts in seats, then you just know the fact it wasn't a flavor of the month when it came out. And honestly, I can tell you, I'm not going to go watch this movie because I'm not a big medieval kind of spin. However, The House of Gucci that's coming out is getting very positive reviews, and I have no doubt will be a box office hit. So 50-50, Mr. Ridley Scott. Take your wins, you take your losses, and you don't try and look for a scapegoat because no one wants to go see your subpar movie. But, I love your earlier work. You did fantastic. Ridley Scott didn't give us Alien. Sorry. Ridley Scott gave us, Blade Runner. Definitely Blade Runner. A little bit confused there. But, yeah, it's the same thing as, just like the same thing with Martin Scorsese. Yeah. When you're on top, you're always going to find your haters. But when you're at the bottom, not so much. It's funny how, everyone takes shots at the MCU because they're on top, and it's like, look, they're not perfect, but right now, they're smashing it. They know what to do, And, if you can't think of anything original, then whose fault's that? Write something original. Alien, Terminator, Blade Runner, original. There you go. Not, let's do another history piece. I don't know, I just don't find it very interesting. But that's the latest news that's happened in the past week. And what has also happened, which there is going to be spoilers. So spoilers right now. So get ready for this. So we got the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. So this is the last MCU Disney Plus TV show for the year. Scary thing is the fact that, when I saw this get announced, I thought that's so ages away. It's coming out in November. We're getting Loki, we're getting Cap and Falcon, and we're getting the What If series. It's ages away, and now it's on upon us. I'm freaking out because it's so close to 2022. Yet at the same time, bring on the next slate of MCU movies, and obviously Ghostbusters. But yes, so Hawkeye. So obviously this is set for after the events of Endgame. Apparently it's about 2 years 2 years after, and apparently it sits, strangely enough, apparently it's after No Way Home, apparently. And it's very big Die Hard vibes. It's Christmas time in New York. And obviously we see how Hawkeye's doing after the events of Endgame, and then we also get introduced to Kate Bishop, who gets very inspired by Hawkeye because at the very first episode we get a flashback to Avengers 1 from a different perspective, where she actually sees Hawkeye when he's over tower. He actually saves her and, does a lot of hero things, normal hero things of Hawkeye, the scene in the movie. So it's not a new scene. It's one of the scenes from Avengers when he's on top of the house, top of the building, and where he runs out of arrows. But she sees it because of the fact that her apartment is blown up and her dad's died, and because of all the Shatari. So we do get definitely into her. She's inspired by Hawkeye, which when we do see him, they are watching in the very first episode. They go in New York. He's taking his kids. They go watch Rogers the Musical. Yes. They've turned, in the MCU, they've turned the events of Avengers into a musical. And look, to be honest with you, as a big fan, I would go watch it. 110% I'd go watch a musical about the first Avengers. And the funny thing is, when he's watching it, he's like, are you enjoying it? He's like, oh no, like, that guy wasn't there. Ant-Man's on stage. He's like, Ant-Man wasn't there. And apparently, in an interview, they were like, it was written down that we're going to do this. However, actually, the whole musical kind of grew and bigger and bigger. And actually, those people on stage are actually musical veterans, because they really wanted to make sure it was very legit, and you can tell by the scenes. Interesting fact that we also get the fact that Hawkeye now has a hearing aid because of all the multiple explosions he's experienced, which I think is really good. Because you got to remember that Hawkeye is obviously one of the most human characters out of the entire Avengers. So after all this, all the fighting and everything, obviously his body's going to take that little bit of toll, which I think is a fantastic. I think it's a fantastic addition, because there is a comic, multiple comics, obviously, where he's actually deaf completely. And I think this is a really good drawback on the comic. And yeah, so you definitely see him. You see multiple battles. And then we discover that Kate Bishop at a, there's a guy, he's called Armin. Armin, and that she meets. Friends with her mum. They've known her for a long time. And I'm watching it and I'm like, why do you look so familiar? It was bugging me through the whole episode. So these episodes go for about 50 minutes each. And it was bugging me. And I was like, why do you look so familiar? I thought, that's right. So I did a little Wikipedia, a little bit Googling, and realized the fact that he was the bad guy from Ace Ventura 2, Call to the Wild. So yes, he appears into it very briefly. When you get to the episode. But yes, you see that, Kate Bishop kind of has a bad, a love-hate relationship with her mum, a very strained relationship, and we do get to see her archery abilities very early on, which are fantastic, because you also find out the fact that she's inspired by Hawkeye because she needs to protect her family because the Shatari, her dad passed away. So, she's elite martial arts, not too elite to the, like Shang-Li, or Shang-Chi, sorry, but more like, jiu-jitsu and all that. So a level black belt, all that kind of stuff, in multiple different sports, especially archery. We do get, so you do see that, that's, she's very skilled. And at the very start, obviously, we do get that they're doing at this party, they're doing a black market sale. So apparently, after the events of Endgame, where the Avengers HQ gets blown up, apparently a lot of items have been scattered and been salvaged by pickers, if you will, or black market trade. So they start selling a Avengers watch, which we don't know who belongs to, but the key thing they sell is Hawkeye's Ronin costume from the beginning of Endgame. They start selling that, and the blade, which there's so much blood on that blade. And then Kate Bishop, the Tracksuit Mafia. I'm not kidding. That is the name of it. Tracksuit Mafia. Yep. They blow up the wall. They try and ambush it and scuffle. And then Kate Bishop, she steals the Ronin suit, and that gets caught on camera. And obviously Hawkeye sees it as well, and and then he finds her, and that's how they two meet. Short version of it. However, what I'm loving about these two first episodes, so still in episode 1, is I do like the dynamic between Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. What I'm actually really liking, compared to, we've seen Black Widow, we've seen, after everything this year, WandaVision, Black Widow, Internals, Shang-Chi, and Loki. It's actually kind of really nice watching this, and this is actually more down-to-earth, more level. It's a little bit more ground level compared to everything going off. So obviously, because we're going to get No Way Home, which is, going to be a big CGI spectacle, big picture kind of way. I like the fact this is a little bit more ground, earthly, storytelling, obviously because of being Hawkeye. So I think that is very positive. I did like the Avengers 1 drawback. It was really good seeing a different perspective, obviously, and it just reminds you how pivotal that first Avengers movie was, to the entire MCU world. From that, we have Kate Bishop from Hawkeye, and then we also get the bad guy, Michael Keaton, from that as well. We do get a lot from it, from that particular one, and obviously Avengers 2, boom, it just makes you realize the fact that how, with everyone's little movies, just how big and impactful Avengers 1 and Avengers 2 is to the entire MCU timeline. So that was really good. Definitely ground level. Definitely do like the dynamic. I do like how they do play off each other, Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. It's good seeing Hawkeye's family again, obviously because of the fact he's very human and he wants obviously his family. So they're all back. It's a lot, actually, watching these two episodes, it's a lot better than I first took a thought, because I will admit, I wasn't excited for this when it got first announced. I was like, yeah, nah, I don't need a Hawkeye TV show, but right now I'm like, I want a Hawkeye TV show. And it's kind of, after watching two first episodes that both released, it's kind of sad the fact that we're only getting 6 episodes. And in the back of my mind, I'm also the fact that I have to remember, the ending of Black Widow. Alana is going to be after him. So whenever she's going to pop in these 6 episodes to try and take him out, or what's going to happen, is going to be very interesting. Are we going to see her at the last episode, and that's going to go into somewhere, or are we going to see her in 5 and 6? It's going to be an epic battle. So it's going to be really cool when she's going to pop in. But I think at the moment, obviously, it's just going to be really Kate Bishop and Hawkeye dealing with the Tracksuit Mafia. It's just when I say that out loud, it just makes me laugh. Actually, they're actually quite funny in the TV show as well. But it's really good. And, it's interesting because there's also a scene where Kate Bishop and Hawkeye are walking through Town Square. And the fact that, she's saying that your issue is branding. And in fact, also, she's like, oh, look, you're right there. And he's like, no, that's Katniss Everdeen. That's not actually Hawkeye. And it's interesting because, in fact, you got to remember the fact he's one of the main Avengers, one of the big Avengers, yet almost you're looking at all this, and he doesn't get the same light shined at him because he's not Captain America, he's not Thor, he's not the Hulk, he's not any of these. He's just guy with arrows, yet he's always got the biggest heart out of all of them, technically. And, I also did really feel, because you do see a moment when he's watching the musical, he kind of has a flashbacks when he sees Black Widow, because he's still feeling the pain of that. And I thought to myself, I was like, this would be such a hard thing to watch, because you're watching your friends, your family for so many years, on stage all together, and in the back of your mind you're like, you're never going to get that again. That's never going to happen. Sadly, Iron Man's dead. Captain America is on the moon. Thor is off world. It's obviously Black Widow's passed away, but but the fact that you're never going to get that moment again, like we're never going to see the original 6 Avengers again together ever again. Obviously, that was the intent for Endgame, but it's just really sad the fact if you're Hawkeye, seeing all this and then knowing in the back of your mind that this was a great time, but it's never going to happen again. And just to add insult to burn is that Hawkeye is obviously gone to the toilet, and his seat looks down, and there's literally a sign on the urinal that says Thanos was right. That would hurt. Whoever wrote that didn't fight him. People, your friends didn't die because of him, so you write that down. Like, that would just sting just that little bit. And when you first saw that, and you can see it in Jeremy Renner's face when he's looking down, you're just like, does that not impressed face? And he does walk out of the theater to get fresh air, and you completely understand why. You completely understand why he's taken away from it. But look, the special effects that are in it are fantastic, and the hand-to-hand combat is great. And episode 2 was really good as well. So that was a really good starting point to have. First one was a little bit slow. To obviously introduce where all these characters are at, and obviously second kicks up a little bit more high gear, a little bit more of action. And what we find out is the fact that something very secret underbelly is going on, and the fact that Hawkeye wants to burn the suit. He wants to get rid of it. He doesn't want anything to do with it, because the fact that he knows people are going to come after him because of it, and we're going to feel the effects of this over the next 4 episodes. But right now, for Hawkeye, plus, positive. I was trying to think this day, I don't actually have a real negative about it. There's no point that I'm like, oh, no, I didn't really like that. Or, no, I'm liking it. I'm liking it at the level it's at. However, over the next 4 episodes, that might change for me. But at this stage, Hawkeye, positive. Definitely go watch it. Moving on. What we got next is what I want to go see that today as I'm recording this is when I saw Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage. Now I do have, compared to Hawkeye, a lot more negatives about this. So obviously we return with Tom Hardy, who does a fantastic job in it, with Venom. And their back and forth of the entire movie is fantastic. It's one of the best parts, and there's a lot more humor in this movie. So this movie only goes for 80 minutes. So this is jam packed. This is beat for beat action, which unfortunately it suffers from. There's a few parts in it where there's no exposition, or you're kind of confused on, okay, what's so bad about that, or what's to this. Venom is like, as you see in the trailer, he's like, oh shit, that's a red one. He doesn't actually explain what's wrong with the red one, or red symbiote. You don't actually see. It doesn't explain. And Tom Hardy doesn't actually ask, so you don't really know what's wrong with a red one. But Woody Harrelson does a fantastic job as Cletus. You definitely feel that. Gets a little bit dark at the very start when he gives his history on what he's done, and because he's a serial killer. He's a horrible human being. And very dark, true, which is why Carnage loves him. And you do feel that vibe. The CGI though, on point. There's no point in it where I thought, oh, that didn't look too well. Now, 100%, they did CGI very well, which of course you're going to have that when your director is Andy Serkis. God bless that man. He is fantastic for all this. And probably the perfect person to direct this movie for both Woody Harrelson and Tom Hardy's benefit. And all those returning, all the side characters also return. for it, which we do get that. But yeah, it's just, it just seems fast and chopped. I'm honestly going to tell you. Probably my biggest thing that I do probably my biggest rating for the movies I do watch and I do review is the fact that, will I go watch it again? And this particular one, like, I liked it, but I probably won't watch it again. I wasn't blown away by this movie, and it's just not me critiquing it like how I normally do, because, I'm watching it more intently because I've seen some of these movies and obviously for this podcast. I think as a regular fan, obviously not into comics as much as I am, it will be fine. But as a fan of the comics and a fan of these characters, this movie didn't hit that, As I always say, you have the standard bearer of the Dark Knight, and then you have everything above the Dark Knight, you have everything lower. Endgame is above the Dark Knight. Just had to get that out there. But this wasn't a fantastic movie. Now, Andy Serkis did say that they wanted the movie to be action-packed in it, beat for beat. But there's like a few points in the movie where you're like, there could have been a little bit more answers or a little bit more, exposition to why this is happening. Even in the end fight, it's kind of like this moment. It's kind of a bit, kind of a bit fast. And I don't think it's wrong because of the CGI, because it's a CGI fight, obviously. But I think more of like the editing sequences, because you're like, oh, okay, up here now, we're down there now, or we're up here now. Not so much. CGI is just, it's perfect. There was nothing really like a bit iffy, like as I said, like in Black Widow. Like CGI for this was a lot better than for Black Widow. Black Widow had a few moments where I was like, ooh, that doesn't, no, you need more money. But, it's the humor, it's fantastic. Tom Hardy does a great job. However, just not blown away by this. It wasn't, obviously what happens is that, Woody Harrelson wants to get the inside. Sorry, Tom Hardy wants to get the inside scoop from Woody Harrelson, obviously because he plays Cletus, who is a serial killer, but he's giving him these like cryptic answers to everything, so he's got to try and figure it out. Eddie's kind of not on top anymore. He's kind of down below because he hasn't released anything recently. However, Cletus bites his hand, and the Venom part of Venom goes into Cletus, which is how he becomes Carnage, a vicious killing machine. And then he tries to find the love of his life, which is Spectre Echo. I can't remember her name now. Shriek. Sorry, that's it. Shriek. Which obviously Shriek's abilities, the symbiote suits don't like, obviously because of that sound. But yeah, she's in it. She doesn't. She gets a very timely end in that. Bell to bell, if you will. It's terrible. But anyway, I'm done with that. But no, all the supporting cast, all the cast do really well. I just feel like, you could have just drawn this movie out just that little bit more, just to explain a little bit more, except not just short, fast, and boom to the point. So, look, Venom 2, look, it's a movie that definitely, go see it. Definitely go see it, but I feel like the most pivotal thing in the entire movie is the ending, is the after credits scene, where Eddie Brock is sitting in like Hawaii, and then whoosh, this big splash of lights, so bright lights, whoosh, and then day turns from night to day, and then the ending scene of Spider-Man Far From Home, where it is announced that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Venom sees that, and Venom licks the TV going, let's get him. And the funny thing is, a guy walks in and goes, what are you doing in my room? And Eddie Brock's like, I don't know. So, obviously, the whole time thing, the multiverse, Venom is now in the MCU, which raises the question going into No Way Home, how much is, Eddie Brock going to rock up in Venom? Sorry, No Way Home. And how much is going to be in it? Is he going to help in the end battle? You know, how's that all going to work out? The funny thing is, we probably won't know until Doctor Strange 2 how Venom will actually go back to his own timeline, because the fact that Tom Hardy signed up for 3 Venom movies. But just to add to the more collusive plot is that fact that we're getting Morbius in February, which has Michael Keaton as Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. And we do see Morbius also, we are Venom, so Venom's also in it. So I don't... Yeah, the timeline right now for the Sony stuff is a little bit skew with to try and connect all the dots. Obviously, when the movie comes out, we'll be able to figure it all out. But just looking, just like, where does this all sit in? You know? And there was a photo on a friend's Instagram with Tom Hardy where he is wearing a No Way Home production cap. So we, highly predict he's going to be in the movie. Would love the fact he's going to be, if he fights in the battle at the end. Funny thing is, if Tobey Maguire sees Venom, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll get the poles. We'll be good." And we're like, "No, he's friendly, anti-hero." But look, Venom 2, you don't need to go back to it. I feel like if they're going to make Venom 3, which we know they are, just turn this into R. Make the PG version and bring us to the R version, because the fact these characters, what he's, he wants to eat people's heads, Carnage, like it needs to be MA or R. Honestly, you're watching it and you're like, there's got to be so much, which watching the movie, like there has to be so much on the cutting room floor, honestly. You've got to, it'd be awesome if you just pull the trigger on this because of it needs an R rating. Like, it'd be like someone bringing out the Punisher movie and making it PG. That's not going to work. That's 100% not going to work. And it's the same thing here, and you feel the weight of it when you're watching it because you're like, how is that particular scene really meant to end? That's probably the biggest weight of it all. And look, honestly, that's my particular review on Venom 2. It's kind of a bit of a miss, really. Except the most intriguing thing to me was the ending of the after credits scene, because I can't wait to see Tom Hardy in the MCU with Venom. Take my money, sir. And that is my review, guys, on the Hawkeye and Venom 2. And look, make sure to tune back, because I will be reviewing Hawkeye every single week when it comes out. And obviously, in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will have my review of No Way Home, which I'm so excited for. So I can't wait to talk to you guys more about that and just explode my mind into that. But look, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning in for today. Sorry, bleh. I hope you got a lot out of this particular episode. Also, later on this week, I'll keep an eye out for, as this episode is released, I am releasing another episode For Those About to Save the World, the musical episode, so definitely go check that out. Definitely go check out all my previous episodes. And guys, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, you know what to do. And until next time, I'll see you then.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.